Hi, I'm Glenn Tinley with Winnipeg Men and Women Magazine, as well as Marketplace Magazine, and I am here for the April 2012 update with our Mayor, Sam Katz. Haven't had a good handshake for...
When do I become your official sidekick? I mean, do I have to earn that right, or I'm just the mayor forever? Is that how it works?
Well, you know what? I'm fine with you being mayor forever. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Let's get on with the show then.
I have not earned my right to be your sidekick. I'm constantly working at that.
This is your show, so you call the shots.
No. So 4 quick things. One, I want to chat. Federal budget came out 2.5 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You have been fighting for the city's share or more share of the gas tax for infrastructure and things like that for some time. Was there anything that came out in the federal budget that was a good move towards that, or not so good?
Here's the scenario. The city of Winnipeg and all other municipalities in Canada have been getting a share of the gas tax, as well as we all get our GST rebate as well.
Right.
You know, why would a government pay tax to another government? There's really no logic to it. And, you know, we are looking for a long-term, sustainable funding for our infrastructure. And of course, we've got something. I think we'd all like to see a little bit more.
Yeah.
We're looking for, we're hoping that they would make a commitment to the Building Canada funds that basically expires 2014.
Okay.
They did say that they're working on a new, type of Building Canada fund, which is good. That was the good news. We're still lobbying for, a greater share of the gas tax, and that will continue. I mean, you just don't start lobbying on a Tuesday and get the result on a Friday. I wish, because I've been trying that with the province. It hasn't been working well.
It's just what Tuesday and what Thursday.
I guess.
It's just the time frame.
Good answer. Good answer.
Any movement on the just when you said Canada Land, the barracks off of Kenaston? Is there where are we with that?
That's such a sad story, unfortunately. Last I heard is there was some negotiating going on between the federal government and the First Nations bands that were involved. As you know, once you go to court, that could get tied up for God knows how long. Yeah. It's been tied up for a while. Right now it's been a no-win for everybody. It's been a big loss for everybody.
So basically it's sitting there empty.
It's still sitting, but at least there is some positive dialogue going on from what I heard. No results as yet, so it would be nice if they could work something out without having to drag this through the courts, because as I say, time is money, and right now there's phenomenal opportunity for development there. The city of Winnipeg is losing millions of dollars every year, which we certainly could use.
Well, and I also look at...
Plus homes are sitting vacant as well.
So I look at 2 things, and again, just as a complete outsider, I see empty homes that I hear about northern reserves or northern centers, not necessarily reserves, but with the flooding that happened around Lake, homes being washed out. Why couldn't some of those homes be picked up on a trailer and shipped out to where people could use them, because they're already built?
Well, as I've said to you, we're missing out on a lot of opportunity. You've just defined one of those opportunities. So hopefully a resolution will come while you and I are still doing these interviews, because it certainly would be nice to bring closure to that and move on and get something really positive done there.
Oh, and I can also, I drive to the airport, and you live in that area. If you got to come up Kenaston, I mean, that 2-lane, 50-kilometer-an-hour is like, come on, fellas.
Yeah, well, that's one of the problems. As you know, we want to, we're looking to widen, and of course we need to deal with Canada, Canada Land and all this court case.
Because the traffic there won't go up at all once IKEA is open. I think it'll probably decrease.
It's been extremely frustrating. Yeah, right. Very funny.
So I don't envy you, because
this is the Glenn Tinley Comedy Hour.
No, I'm sorry. But I just as a citizen, you look and you think, these things have got to happen. I know you're fighting for stuff to happen, and it just sort of like, this has been for years.
I've been through 2 federal governments on this issue. I thought it was resolved with the first federal government. Well, so anyways, yeah, we need to bring that to fruition.
The provincial government has its budget coming out next week. Is there any inkling of things that you've been kind of lobbying for them that you think may go your way?
You know, you and I just kind of covered it, but yeah, I believe in order for us to deal with our infrastructure deficit and to move the city further and to attack the problems we have, we should be getting a share of the gas tax, as well as that the provincial government should follow what the federal government, and once again, we pay provincial sales tax. It's approximately $10 million a year, which, you know, may not sound like that much, but what we could do is if we knew we were getting that rebated like the feds do with the GST, which, as I said, I don't think any municipality should pay tax to another municipality or another level of government, which is what's happening. We could take that money, leverage it, use it to service debt on 30-year money. We can just go start building $80 million worth of infrastructure right now.
Yeah,
so that's what I want to see.
And start fixing up the current infrastructure problems that are there. The $2 billion, whatever the number.
2.8. You know, I don't even say that anymore because no one can relate to that. But the facts of life are we could start fixing your roads, your bridges, your back lanes, your streets, your curbs, your sidewalks, your community centers, your libraries, etc., your pipes underground, etc., etc., etc. That's how it works, and that's why that would be a major, major step. So I would love to hear that. We'll see what happens very shortly.
Well, we'll know that'll be next week, and then we'll be sitting down in May again.
Okay.
So, earlier this week, there was a talk and I don't know if there's been an official announcement but the water park that you've been a proponent of and in favor of for some time, and many years ago or a few years ago there was $7 million sort of set aside to participate in a water park development. Now there's talk of a proposal that has come forward for something at the Forks. Maybe you can.
Yeah, sure. We now have the department has actually done a report, and they have negotiated a deal with a hotelier and one of the I would say world-renowned water park builder. It's absolutely amazing. They've done the ones at Mandalay Bay in Las Vegas, the West Edmonton Mall, Dubai, right across the world. I saw their brochure, it was amazing. So they've got some first-class proponents, and they do have a proposal on the table. We just recently had a council seminar, and there was a press release that we are looking at this. It'll go through the process. It'll go to the Standing Policy Committee on Downtown Development. It'll then go to EPC. It'll then go to council. In the end, it'll be up to council to decide. But what we're looking at in the proposal is a standalone 50,000 square foot water park. It will have a lazy river. It will have a wave pool. It'll have all the rides, the types of rides they have that kids and families love. And I mean, listen, I take my kids on a regular. Anytime we're traveling, we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And Winnipeg, for whatever the reason, doesn't have one. I think it's a shame. I think it'd be a great tourist attraction. And we have set aside some money to put this in, but in return, we get what we call public access agreement. Right. They will provide $700,000 worth of admissions on an annual basis for 25 years, which is $17.5 million. And I think it's approximately, depending what the cost might be, anywhere between 25 and 28,000 admissions annually.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that regardless of what economic level you might be in, that everybody will have the opportunity to come. And I can tell you, this actually started before I was elected. You may recall when the deal was done to build what is now the MTS Center, one of the conditions, they knocked down the old arena, and a young man by the name of Ty Tran started on this whole proposal for a indoor water park. And I don't know, I think he might have got somewhere between 10 and 20,000 signatures on a petition to do that. Unfortunately, it couldn't happen because in the deal it said they had to tear down, the old Winnipeg Arena. But Ty and I have talked, and actually he called me just recently.
Oh, I bet he did.
And we exchanged phone calls. We missed each other. But so this is a real opportunity. And I think what people need to know, I mean, you hear the number 7 million. Governments put money into projects all the time. I could give you a whole list of projects in the city of Winnipeg where government money was put in, and you know what? They never got a public access agreement.
Yeah.
Okay, of this ilk. So, and this is a lot less than some of the ones that I'm aware of, but I'm not gonna, but they're out there on a regular basis. Trust me.
Well, and I mean, it's a big undertaking, and some people will say, well, hey, if private enterprise wants a water park, private enterprise should put it in, and yes,
but here's the key: if a water park of this ilk is going to cost like $30 million, and you can leverage your money, and you're basically getting 4 for 1 or 5 for 1, that's not such a bad thing. And more importantly, you're making sure that Winnipeggers can access it. And more importantly, it's part of making our downtown a special place.
Yeah.
And like I say, all winter long, we're looking for things to do. Here's an opportunity. Or even during the spring and summer and fall, when inclement weather, you got something to do with the kids. I mean, I think it's great. Like I say, and it's interesting. Any counselor that has a family, they love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, when you also look at it, there's not one in, just within driving distance. Grand Forks, but Thunder Bay, Regina,
Steinbach and Portage la Prairie have small ones. Yeah. And as you mentioned, Grand Forks
has it. Steinbach's busy.
And we don't. And Winnipeg, Manitoba doesn't have it. Okay, so let's make sure that we can stand tall with all the other cities.
Well, and you think about, obviously, the Forks is where they're talking about. The Forks area, I'll say, is where they're talking about. Is what I've heard there where this would go.
Well, it's city-owned land, which is adjacent to the High Line, and also adjacent to the Forks. Yeah, that's correct.
So, but you think of you started it with a ballpark. Yeah. Now we've got the Forks has developed into an unbelievable community gathering area. The Human Rights Museum. Mm-hmm. Now you got the water, and the MTS Center, and
there would be a hotel on that site as well. That's part of the proposal.
With the water park, it would be, so you'll have a hotel. You've got a new apartment just opened up on Port. The Avenue opened up on Port. Like
the momentum keeps going, and we'll see what council has to say in the end when it goes through the process. But this is an opportunity. We thought we had a deal once before with Canada Inns. Unfortunately, it never became a reality. We now have some great proponents when it comes to the quality of the proponents and the integrity. We couldn't get much better than that.
And I've heard potentially shovels in the ground this fall. Not
my understanding.
In 2 years we might build
according to the department, they want to start this fall and have it open by the end of 2013 or the beginning of 2014 at the latest. Yeah, they want to move pronto.
Get it done, which is great. So construction, all the benefits that go along with that.
There you go.
So finally, today, April the 12th, I'm going to look at my watch, but I don't know what dates
you're right. You're okay. Right? I would only correct you if you're wrong.
Is the 100th anniversary of Transcona.
There's Centennial. Pretty impressive.
Lots going on there today.
Actually, I'll be out there. Later.
Well, they've got a noon. They've got a big cake.
Big announcements.
I guess Russ Wyatt is probably not even here today. I'm sure he's spending his day.
He'll be dancing in the streets of Transcona. Listen, Transcona is a very unique, special part of the city of Winnipeg. There's no question about it. I've had some first-hand experience. I actually, well over 30 years ago, I spent a few years working in Transcona, so got to know it very well, working with the people of Transcona. You may not know this, but I was probably the only assistant Jewish ice maker in the entire city.
In Transcona?
I could pebble with the best of them at the Transcona Curling Club, absolutely.
Oh, wow.
So I spent a lot of time there, so Transcona's got a special place in my heart.
Well, I grew up in Oak Bank, and so Transcona was, it was stomping grounds for myself. It was, and an interesting fact, and I'll wrap up with this, and you probably know this, but do you know that Command Start was invented here in Winnipeg by a guy in Transcona?
I do now, but as of 30 seconds ago, I did not. So
and
thank you
think
for sharing
about the
that.
impact of Command Start, like everywhere, invented by a guy.
You probably have one of those in your car.
I don't, because I'm on a lease and I don't want to install it and give it back. So anyway,
but when you own your own vehicle, you'll have one then.
One day when I finally own something, that'll be nice.
Okay.
But happy birthday to Transcona, happy Centennial.
A very happy birthday
to them. I know they'll have a great festival. I'm sure it'll go right through the weekend. Knowing Transcona, it's Thursday. It'll probably
could last
Saturday,
a lot longer.
That's right. Anyway, thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
For our chat today. That is our April 2012 update from the Mayor's office here in the city of Winnipeg. I am Glenn Tinley with Winnipeg Men and Women magazine as well as Marketplace magazine. We'll see you in May.